The fluorescent lights hummed softly in the corner market as Robert Chen finished stocking the produce section. For 3 weeks now, he'd been working undercover as a store employee, trying to understand why this particular location struggled while others in the chain thrived. At 52, Robert had built his career on numbers and efficiency. As CFO of Henderson Grocery Corporation, he analyzed profit margins, not people. But something about this store felt different. Despite lower sales, the customers seemed happier somehow. "Take your lunch break, Maria," called out the store manager. "You've been here since 6 this morning." Robert watched as Maria Gonzalez, the young cashier with kind eyes and a warm smile, shook her head gently. "I'm fine, Mr. Peterson, I'll take it later." This was the 3rd day Robert had noticed the same pattern. Maria, barely 25, would skip her lunch break every single day. As someone who'd spent decades optimizing employee productivity, this behavior puzzled him. During the afternoon lull, Robert restocked shelves near the front windows. That's when he saw her. A little girl, perhaps 6 years old, pressed her nose against the glass door. She had Maria's same dark hair and gentle features. Maria spotted her too, and her entire face transformed with maternal joy. "Mija," Maria whispered. Stepping outside briefly, she knelt down to the child's eye level. "How was school, Isabella?" "I'm hungry, Mama," the little girl said simply. Robert watched as Maria glanced around nervously, then reached into her apron pocket. She pulled out a granola bar, her own lunch, and handed it to her daughter. "Eat this, sweetheart. Mama will be home soon and we'll make dinner together, okay?" Isabella nodded, unwrapping the bar with small, careful fingers. "What about you, Mama? Aren't you hungry too?" Maria's smile never wavered, though Robert caught the slight tightness around her eyes. "Mama ate earlier, baby. You eat that up and go straight to Mrs. Rodriguez's house. I'll pick you up at 6. Robert felt something shift in his chest as he watched this quiet sacrifice. In boardrooms, he dealt with million-dollar decisions. But somehow this moment, a mother giving her only meal to her child, felt more significant than any quarterly report. That evening, Robert found himself driving past Maria's apartment complex. He wasn't sure why. Through a first-floor window, he glimpsed Maria and Isabella sharing a simple dinner of rice and beans, both of them laughing at something the little girl had said. The next morning, Robert arrived early. He'd spent half the night thinking about what he'd witnessed. When Maria came in for her shift, he was ready. "Maria," he said casually, adjusting a display near her register, "I noticed you never take lunch breaks. That's not good for productivity." Maria's eyes widened with worry. "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Robert, I didn't realize it was a problem. I can change my schedule if—" "Actually," Robert interrupted gently, "I was thinking we might need someone to help with inventory during lunch hours. Paid position, of course. Would you be interested in picking up those extra hours?" Maria's face brightened with hope and confusion. Yes, but I should mention I have a daughter. She sometimes stops by after school." "Is that okay?" Robert pretended to consider this. "Well, if she's well-behaved and doesn't interfere with work, I suppose that would be acceptable." What Robert didn't tell Maria was that he'd already spoken with corporate about implementing a new employee meal program at this location. He'd framed it as a pilot project to boost morale and productivity, but really, he just wanted to ensure Maria never had to choose between eating and feeding her daughter again. 2 weeks later, the store had a small employee break room with a refrigerator full of healthy meals and snacks. Robert watched Maria's eyes fill with tears of gratitude when she first saw it. "This is too much," she whispered to the store manager. "I don't deserve all this." But Robert, still maintaining his cover, overheard and thought to himself how wrong she was. In 3 weeks of corporate analysis, he'd learned more about leadership from Maria than from all his business school courses combined. She treated every customer like family. She remembered their names, asked about their grandchildren, and somehow made a simple grocery transaction feel like a warm conversation with a friend. The store didn't have the highest profits, but it had something more valuable: heart. On Robert's final day undercover, Isabella came by after school as usual. This time, Maria had a proper lunch waiting, a sandwich, fruit, and juice. "Look, Mika," Maria said, her voice full of wonder. "The store started a new program. All the employees get meals now." Isabella clapped her hands with delight. "Does this mean you can eat lunch too, Mama?" Yes, sweetheart. Mama can eat lunch too. Robert watched from behind a display of cereal boxes, feeling something he hadn't experienced in years of corporate success. The simple satisfaction of making someone else's life a little easier. That evening, Robert called his assistant. I want you to promote Maria Gonzalez to assistant manager, effective immediately, and implement the employee meal program chain-wide. Sir, did you say chain-wide? That's quite an expense. Robert smiled, thinking of Isabella's joy when her mother could finally eat lunch. Trust me, it's an investment that will pay dividends in ways we can't measure on a balance sheet. Sometimes the most valuable lessons come not from business books, but from watching a mother's love in action. And sometimes the best executive decisions are made not in boardrooms, but in the quiet moments when we remember that behind every employee is a human story worth honoring.